Imagine waking up in the morning and suddenly the first question that hits your mind is something most men secretly wonder, but never talk about out loud. How many erections per day is actually normal? Is there a number you should expect? Is it healthy to have too many? Is it a problem to have too few? These questions linger in the back of so many minds, especially when someone compares themselves to friends, to random internet comments, or to some unrealistic expectations created by movies. Today, we're diving deep into the reality, the science, and the psychology behind daily erections. But we're doing it in a way that's human, relatable, judgment-free, and actually helpful. So sit back, relax, and let the truth unfold. Let's start with something simple. The human body is not a machine, and erections are not a performance metric. They are biological events, sensitive to hormones, stress, sleep, hydration, emotions, environment, mental health, stimulation, and even the time of day. For years, people have created this illusion that there's a standard number of erections every man should have, and anything below or above that number means something is wrong. But the truth is that human sexuality is incredibly individual, and erections fall into that same category. When you're younger, especially during teenage years or early 20s, erections can feel like they appear at the most inappropriate times. 1 second you're sitting in class, the next second your body decides to surprise you. Sometimes you wake up with morning wood and don't even remember having any sexy thoughts. Sometimes you get an erection just from brushing up against something. Sometimes you're not thinking anything at all, and it just happens. For young men, the number can be surprisingly high, sometimes 20 or more in a single day, and the body is simply responding to hormones and sensitivity. No, that doesn't mean you're abnormal. In reality, it means your testosterone is functioning normally. Your blood flow is healthy, and your nerves are responsive as men get older. The number naturally decreases not because something is wrong, but because the hormonal balance shifts, and the body becomes less reactive to random triggers. The average adult man might experience anywhere between 3 to 10 erections per day, including the ones that happen during sleep. And yes, nighttime erections are a huge part of this conversation. Most people don't realize that men typically get 3 to 5 erections every night while sleeping. These are completely involuntary and happen during REM sleep. They serve an important biological purpose, keeping the tissue oxygenated and healthy. So if you're counting your daily erections and you're only thinking about the ones you have while awake, you're missing half the story. Your body is doing far more work behind the scenes than you think. And if you're someone who wakes up without morning wood every single day, that doesn't automatically mean there's an issue. Morning erections depend on sleep quality, stress levels, hydration, and even what time you fell asleep. Missing it once or twice is normal. Missing it constantly may be something worth paying attention to, but even then, it doesn't automatically signal a disorder. Now, let's talk about something many people feel embarrassed about: overthinking their erection frequency. You might have days when you feel incredibly responsive, like the smallest spark can set your body off, and other days when you feel flat, uninterested, distracted, or stressed. That's not dysfunction, that's being human. One of the biggest myths men grow up with is the idea that their body should function like an on-demand system, ready at every moment. But the reality is far different. Stress, anxiety, depression, overthinking, lack of sleep, dehydration, porn habits, relationship issues, medication, and even physical fatigue can reduce erection frequency significantly. On the flip side, excitement, novelty, flirting, fantasies, adventure, or simply being mentally relaxed can increase the number. This doesn't make you hypersexual. It means your emotional and mental state is aligned with your biological response. Many men secretly panic when they notice they're having fewer erections than before. They start Googling symptoms, comparing themselves to unrealistic expectations, and worrying that they're suddenly lacking masculinity. But before jumping to conclusions, consider all the natural factors that influence erection frequency. Did you get enough sleep? Are you hydrated? Have you been stressed? Are you emotionally drained? Have you been overthinking? Are you anxious? Are you under pressure? Did you eat badly? Did you work out too hard? Did you watch too much porn? Are you feeling disconnected from your partner? All of these can reduce erection frequency for days or even weeks without indicating anything serious. And then there's the psychological element. The moment a man starts observing himself too closely, he may accidentally create performance anxiety. Imagine this scenario. You start counting your erections, wondering why you didn't have as many today as you had last week. Suddenly the mind becomes involved. The brain shifts from natural responses to forced expectations. And when you expect erections to happen on command, you're actually interrupting the natural mechanism that allows them to happen. This is why many men experience fewer erections when they're stressed about sex, and ironically, the more they worry, the fewer they get. But what about having too many erections? Can that be a problem? Generally, no, unless it's causing pain, discomfort, or lasting longer than 2 hours, which becomes a medical situation known as priapism. Frequent erections are typically just a sign of a healthy blood flow and strong hormone activity. Some men naturally have more frequent spontaneous erections, especially in their teens and 20s. As long as they come and go naturally, without pain, there's nothing harmful about them. Now let's talk about something many people misunderstand. Erections don't always equal sexual desire. Sometimes the body reacts physically even when the mind isn't sexually interested. Other times you may feel sexual desire, but your body doesn't respond immediately. Men often assume that if the body doesn't react, it means something is wrong. But the body and mind are two separate systems. They influence each other, but they don't always operate in perfect sync. Stress can disconnect them. Fatigue can disconnect them. Overthinking can disconnect them. And that's completely normal. Another thing that impacts erection frequency is hormones. Testosterone plays a big role, but it's not the only factor. Dopamine, cortisol, adrenaline, and even serotonin affect erections. If you're low on dopamine, you may feel less desire. If your cortisol is high because of stress, your body may shut down sexual responses temporarily. That doesn't mean your masculinity is decreasing. It means your body is prioritizing survival over pleasure. Hydration is another underestimated factor. Erections are literally a blood flow event. If you're dehydrated, the blood thickens slightly, circulation slows, and responsiveness drops. One of the simplest ways men improve spontaneous erections is by drinking more water, sleeping better, and reducing stress. The body is much more responsive when it feels safe and rested. Let's talk about lifestyle. Men who exercise regularly, especially activities that improve heart health, tend to experience more reliable erections. Cardio, weightlifting, and even simple walking improve blood flow, which directly influences erection frequency. On the other hand, smoking, heavy drinking, excessive caffeine, and bad diet can reduce erections over time. It's not instant, but the effect builds gradually. Now, here's a question people rarely ask. Should you actually track how many erections you get per day? Realistically, no. Unless you're dealing with a medical issue and a doctor specifically asks you to monitor changes, counting erections can lead to unnecessary anxiety. Most men who try to track it end up stressing themselves because the number varies so much. Some days you may feel extremely responsive, sometimes even at random moments. Other days, your mind is focused on work, problems, responsibilities, or life pressures. and erections naturally become less frequent. Instead of counting. The real question should be, are you getting erections consistently over time, especially during sleep or morning? Are they strong, natural, and comfortable? Are they responding when the right kind of stimulation is present? If yes, then your sexual health is likely normal. If you occasionally have off days, that's normal too. The human body is not a robot. Another interesting detail is how imagination and mental stimulation influence spontaneous erections. Most men get a large portion of their erections not from physical touch but from their thoughts. A memory, a fantasy, a visual trigger, a feeling, emotional closeness, or even a moment of boredom can spark an erection. This is why some men naturally get more erections, because they are more imaginative, mentally sensitive, or emotionally reactive. Others may be more grounded or mentally busy, resulting in fewer spontaneous erections. But again, both are normal. Now let's talk about age. As men move into their 30s and 40s, it's common to see a slow decline in spontaneous erections. Not a disappearance, just a shift. Instead of 15 random erections a day, they might get 5 or 6. Instead of reacting instantly to a fantasy, they might need a bit more mental or physical stimulation. This isn't dysfunction, it's biology. Testosterone naturally declines about 1% per year after age 30. Sleep quality also changes. Stress tends to increase. Responsibilities grow. Libido becomes more linked to emotional connection, intimacy, and relaxation rather than pure biological impulse. But even in old age, nighttime erections continue. Many men in their 50s, 60s, and even 70s still experience 3 to 5 nighttime erections. These are valuable indicators of vascular health. As long as they're happening, even occasionally, it means the body is still functioning well. Let's address a concern many men hesitate to mention. What if someone rarely gets spontaneous erections? Does that mean something is wrong? Not always. Some men simply have lower sensitivity or less random arousal. They may still function perfectly fine during sexual activity. It's only a problem if it's accompanied by difficulty getting or maintaining erections when desired. If sexual performance is normal, then spontaneous erection frequency is irrelevant. But if both spontaneous and intentional erections are becoming less frequent or weaker, it may be worth looking at lifestyle, stress, sleep, emotional well-being, and physical health. Many times, the solution isn't medical, it's about reducing stress, improving sleep, drinking enough water, cutting back on porn, exercising more, and improving relationship communication. When it comes to porn, excessive use can condition the brain to respond only to very specific visual stimuli, reducing spontaneous erections in daily life. It doesn't mean permanent damage. It simply means the brain has become accustomed to a higher threshold of stimulation. Reducing usage, taking breaks, or consuming content more consciously can restore natural responsiveness over time. Now consider the emotional dimension. Men often underestimate how strongly emotions affect the body. Feeling disconnected, unloved, pressured, insecure, or overwhelmed can dramatically reduce erection frequency. Erection isn't just a body function, it's an emotional response. When the heart is heavy, the body goes quiet. This brings us back to the original question. How many erections per day is normal? And the honest answer is that there is no single number that fits everyone. For some men, 1 or 2 per day is normal. For others, 15 or more is normal. The real definition of normal is consistency over time. If your body responds similarly over weeks and months, you're likely functioning normally. A sudden change, such as a dramatic drop or painful erections, is something that deserves attention, but even then, it's usually linked to stress, lifestyle changes, or temporary hormonal shifts. So instead of worrying about numbers, focus on patterns. Focus on how you feel. Focus on your mental and emotional health. Your erection frequency is simply a reflection of your mind, your body, and your lifestyle working together. At the end of the day, erections are not a scoreboard. They are not a sign of superiority or weakness. They're just a biological response, and like all biological systems, they fluctuate. They rise and fall with your life, your emotions, your habits, and your environment. So whether you're someone who gets many erections a day or someone who gets fewer, the only thing that truly matters is whether your body is working in a way that feels natural and healthy to you. If there's one thing you should take away from this video, let it be this. You are not defined by a number. Your masculinity is not measured by frequency. Your worth is not determined by your body's reactions. You are a whole person, and your sexuality is just one part of your human experience. Beautiful, complex, dynamic, and unique.